Remember when I said, all those times I said, so many times, word for word.
They are coming for the biggest guys and they just shut it down, and they're in your face about it. I have said that unless we break social media's hold on this today, over this weekend and early next week, the president's never going to get a fair election. They're going to take down everything that says the president wins. They're going to take down everything that says the president's leading. Jack Dorsey, Zuckerberg, and the guys at Google, to me, the Justice Department should go in and shut it down on Monday. If they don't shut it down, throw them in jail. They have taken free. These oligarchs in Silicon Valley are out of control. We don't have free speech in this country. They took down the White House press secretary the other day. They went right to the White House and took down the commander in chief of the armed forces of the United States because they deemed behind the screen that something was inaccurate. And what they said about being accurate is a stone cold lie. They said it was hacked material. Nobody said it's hacked material. This comes off a hard drive.
When the chief political advisor to the President of the United States of America repeats word for word what I've been saying. What does that mean? Little old me, nobody in particular, no university degree, no verified accounts, gaslighted, accused, nobody in particular, and yet, word for word, every step of the way. Steve Bannon just said a couple of days ago that Facebook, Twitter, Google, and the rest must be immediately raided, shut down, taken over. And by shut down, there's a bit of disagreement. People don't understand the consequences because they have a country in hostage. If you shut them down, no one can speak because they've gained a monopoly on everything. So instead of shutting them down, take over. Temporarily take over. Get rid of them later, but in the short term, completely take over and put them, every single one of them, in prison. Every single Facebook, Google, YouTube, Twitter, and all that. Every single person who works for them. Raid them all immediately and put them all in prison. That is the government's job. And what do I say? If the government does not do that immediately, those who are tasked to do so, such as the Justice Department, do it to them. Raid, arrest, and imprison them. You see, that's the government's job. And people saying that this must be done, where were they when this happens to people like me, left, right, and centre, for all this time? They only complain when it happens to them, when they got something to lose. Isn't that convenient? However, it's all true. And there's only one way to solve this. And they all agree. And they'll only do it in defense of themselves, not in defense of the victims, like I do. So, the government, they can't just go raid and kill them. I mean, the crimes that they're doing are death penalty offences. Like practically everyone who works for these companies, death penalty. But the government can't do that without a trial, because if they don't do that, if they do it without a trial and they just go around killing people with government powers, then what if they're wrong? What if they just go around accusing people and just kill them without charge or trial? So they have government powers, and because of those government powers, their hands must be tied. Doesn't mean that the people they're arresting don't get executed for the worst of all crimes anyway. But they have a system that's supposed to restrict their powers, which are obviously being abused by the very people in their own government and the corporations working together to do these crimes. But government's not supposed to have that power because of the potential abuse, the guaranteed abuse if it's allowed. Citizens, on the other hand, this is what they won't tell you. I mean, they all agree with my conclusions, but they're not going to tell you everything because, well, they're scared for their own life if they say it. If you're a citizen and you report this to the government, you're being censored, your life's in danger. Look at me, I'm a fugitive on the run. I'm being illegally and wrongfully and falsely accused by all these corporations and criminals in my own government. about to be raided in supposedly a couple of days. They're going to try and threaten to raid me in attempt to rape me out, drag me out of hiding. They're going to go raid my home apparently again. And no word from, reported this to the government, no word. They tried to track me down, all this is going on. What am I obligated to do? Like, if someone is doing a home invasion, do you say, oh, I'm going to take you to court next week, and I'm going to wait 2 years for the court case, and I'll get you in court, and they just let them do it? No, 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 no. If you're in danger and someone's wielding a position of power to do harm, you have to take them out immediately. You don't wait for the government. You don't wait for the courts. The government's job is to get to them before you do. If they have been informed and they refuse to, then you have to take them out yourself. So if someone's, if it's just a thug making silly threats, not serious threats, there's still punishment that must happen and things that have to be done to prevent it from going further. But if it's a serious threat, whoever it is making that threat, you have to do it. You have to use at least equal force back. If someone threatens to, break into your home and do horrific things, you can kill him as a citizen. The government can't. You're not even obligated to tell the government, but if you tell the government, as I have, and documented myself doing so, and I recommend you document everything you do regarding these things, the government's job is to take them out, is to go raid them. I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. Concerned I was about to get raided again. Long story. So the government is supposed to get to them before you do. Your hand's not supposed to be tied. You can act in self-defense. You don't need to. You have no obligation to go call the police. You can defend yourself. But if you do call the police or the government and they don't act, you have to take them out. If there is a serious threat against you, against your life, or even more so, your heritage, you have to kill them. It's the law. You don't just have the right to kill them, you have the responsibility to kill them. And then you have to go after the government officials who refuse to get to them first. If you have to kill them in justified self-defense, you go to the government and say, why didn't you get to them first? If their answer isn't sufficient, they have to be arrested too. And if there we go again, there were people within their own government who were supposed to arrest them, and they had the power to, and the responsibility to, and they didn't, they're next, and they're next, and they're next, and so on. That's how this works. And if you can't have them arrested, you have to kill them. It's no different to a terrorist walking around with a mobile phone with a bomb button on it, extorting people and making terrorist threats and stuff with a bomb threat. That's what government officials, corrupt government officials, are doing. They're walking around with a bomb, with special powers to nuke you illegally, with no system in place to protect you or any other victim. They have to be taken out. There's no other way. You don't sit down and take it. You fight back and you kill them. Look at all the censorship that happens to me. All my accusers, all my censors. Do you see them producing an argument? They got no leg to stand on. They just make up incoherent excuses, and it's so bad that they've run out of dishonest, lying excuses, and they just banned me with all kinds of ways, not just shadow ban, all kinds of stuff, and they just delete the records of it because it looks so bad for them, because it's all lies. Why do you think they're doing this to me? When if I say these things, I'm just this. Just say I'm not the founder of Anonymous, and I'm just some crazy lunatic idiot that no one knows, who thinks he's God or some shit. In 2020, I must be the only person in the world who's not saying that he's a God. I'm not saying it at all, and everyone else seems to be thinking they are. It's fucking ridiculous. But here's little old me. No verified accounts, not acknowledged by no one, except for a few people here and there in the shadows. But I say these things, and the top of the top of the top, the actual experts are saying all these so-called conspiracy theories of government takeovers and crimes and networks, all these kind of things that that differ from all these conspiracy theory nonsense stuff that are only slightly based on the truth. I got a very different version of the story, and look what happens. Word for word what I say, it keeps getting repeated by actual experts saying the exact same thing as I do, more and more over time. I've never been proven wrong. Everything I've said has consistently been, one step at a time, confirmed true, over and over and over again. I'm right. I've always been right. I might not always be right in the future, I might be wrong about something here or there, but up until this point, I've always been right. You might want to ask questions of where I get all this information from, if I'm just nobody in particular, and if I am somebody in particular, where am I getting this information and knowledge and stuff from? That's a long story in itself. However, maybe anyone who doesn't take me seriously, you're talking to Santa Claus here. You need to take Santa Claus seriously because he knows all your secrets. He knows when you've been bad or good. So be good for your balls' sake. But if the top political advisor, chief political advisor to the President of the United States, you can't get any higher than that, saying the same exact things as me. He's actually saying, the very Justice Department of the country, the very Justice Department of their country, if they don't raid and arrest Facebook, Twitter, and all this weekend, take them out. Take out your own Justice Department. Go raid and arrest them. And if they fight back, guess what happens? Lethal force, son. If they run, guess what happens? See, with the government, I don't agree with the government, even though they have a good case to make of using lethal force. They're not doing so because they know where that leads. But a government shouldn't have the powers to do such a thing. But the citizens are different. If you have documentation, you just need to be right. You don't need documentation, but it'll keep you alive if you have documentation and evidence to show that you're being persecuted by government officials or corporate officials, as I have. You got the evidence, and then you try to report it, and then you document what happens, that you get attacked, and you show you've tried to appeal, you tried to report it. Guess what? Next step is you're above the law. You can execute these people damn well however you damn well please. That's the law. That's how the law works. Right, I better get out of here really quick. I can't stay in a place too long. Alright, gotta go.